Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Preparation 8, your number one place for being too soon about a person who got one step too close to the edge, then broke.
I'm breaking the habit. Check it out. Kurtzen made the joke, too.
Damn. All right, well, of course, we're coming to live here from twitch.tv/chainslive every single Thursday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. I'm DKP.
I'm H-Top.
And, well, what do we have on the Residox tonight?
A bunch of boring stuff. Telltale Announcements stuff. I want to talk about that.
All right.
Stadium events sold for $42,000. So, yeah, we'll kind of get in. Well, we'll read a little bit about it, and then I just want to talk about collecting again.
Okay.
It's always fun to talk about collecting. Last week we talked about video games getting converted to TV. This week we're going to talk about TV shows going to video games.
Ah.
Now, granted, this is a topic we have discussed on Prep 8 before. I don't know when, I just recall that we've talked about it. But we're going to talk about it again. Because sometimes the brain allows new doors to be opened, new memories to come out.
Right,
and then,
right.
Yeah, there's going to be a couple of caveats, but we'll get to it. And then we're going to play a little bit of a game of the year so far. We're going to talk about the contenders. Which ones have we played? Which ones haven't we played? What do we need to make sure that we play before the end of the year?
What?
Cat's pulling stuff down back there. Hey, Sis Kurtzen. Yeah, see if it's all fudged.
No, we're fine.
No, it's looking good, baby. So, yeah. I know you don't like this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What have you been playing lately? Stuff that's not on stream.
Okay. Dark Souls 3?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is my knowledge of you playing Dark Souls 3. You never actually finished it because you got stuck on a boss or something, and then you got a new computer, and then your save got wiped?
No, I originally played it with the Japanese version, which came out a week before.
Okay.
And I made it to the final boss, but wasn't sure if you beat the final one, if it immediately pushes you into New Game Plus and starts over or not.
Gotcha.
And there was no info on that at that time, so I just never beat it.
Okay.
Played through pretty much all the way up to the final boss again on PC, then got a new computer, and yeah, for whatever reason, it's one of the few games that the saves are fucking stored locally.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just all got erased. And it's been a while. Wanted to check out the DLC, but didn't want to have to restart, so eventually fucking went ahead and just did it, man. And I've done it.
There you go. Chris says, I hate the people pretending to care about them now. Yesterday, Linkin Park shit. Today, taken too soon. Best
yeah,
musician.
dude, like, I don't know a single fucking person who, like, unironically liked Linkin Park in the last 10 years.
Well, that's the key. It's before 10 years ago, when I was in high school, I was big into, like, new metal and stuff. The stuff like Linkin Park, like Breaking Benjamin and Hoobastank, and all those bands that, like, everyone is just like, oh, these bands are terrible. We just don't talk about music a lot. Music's a very, like, personal thing for people. And people always hate on people for their music taste. I always hate on you for, like, I don't know, whatever that nonsense is you like. That, as I start hating on you for.
But
yeah.
I listen to questionable music.
I mean, we both do and have. I mean, I remember, like, back in middle school, I used to listen to the first Creed album a lot. And that is a very hateable band. But
yes,
you did say it appropriately in that I don't know anybody who listened to them in the last 10 years. Because I haven't listened to any of Linkin Park's albums since, like, 2005. So.
I bet you put them back on today and you're like, oh, yeah, they do suck.
Man. No, I'll totally listen to Linkin Park today. And, dude, I was so surprised how many of their songs are about suicide. Like, pretty much the majority of their songs are about him killing himself. I mean, it took him, 17 years of albums, but he finally got there.
Remember when he said he was one step closer to the edge? Well, apparently he was really far away from it.
Yeah.
And he finally made it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
The one step just took 17 years to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it happens,
Anything else you've been playing?
No, not really.
Okay.
I mean, well, World of Warcraft.
Okay.
I finally got Thunder Fury.
There you go.
So that means something to somebody watching. Maybe not somebody this exact second, but somebody soon.
Yeah, yeah. Kirsten says, why do celebrities always use a rope to kill themselves? Like, could they for once change it up and use a razor blade or pills? I don't know.
Maybe it'd be cool if you went skydiving and just didn't pull the chute.
Dude, did you hear about that? Somebody told me about this recently where This guy texts his wife, he's a skydiver, and he's like, hey, I'm not going to pull the rope this time, I'm just going to let myself fall. And then by the time she gets his message and like takes off to save him, it's already too late, he's up in the plane. And then he didn't pull the rope, and then he died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, all right then.
Yeah, exactly. What Kurtzen was saying. Yeah, it is sad, man. Yeah, it's weird. I know, I mean, we all know people in our lives that have committed suicide, or at least know of them. Mm-hmm. It's like a tragic thing, but yeah, I guess we're not going to get too much into suicide in today's episode of Preparation.
Yeah, I'm not really interested. I don't care. I mean, it's about Prep 8, whatever. It's not about fucking, hey kids, we've had a lot of fun tonight, but on a more serious note. Like, nah, if you need something, call somebody. There's this hotline, you know, whatever. We can move on.
Yep. So, I know you didn't ask, but as far as what I've been playing, I've been working on my 52-week challenge. Yeah. Where I try to beat 52 games in a year. I'm doing pretty good. I've slowed down quite a bit recently. And I have like 5 or 6 games I'm working on at once. So I'm getting pretty close on the first Splatoon. I wanted to try to finish it today before 2 came out, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen because it's going to come out before I leave this house. So,
well, all right.
And then I've been playing a lot of Implosion, which is like a $10, $12 game from the Switch eShop. It's like a dungeon crawler, but you play as a dude in a robot suit, and it's very anime-esque. All the missions are anywhere from like a minute to 4 minutes long. They're all super short. So it's a good, handheld game to play.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, not bad.
Yeah. You ready to talk about some Telltale?
I reckon I am. Let's fucking go ahead and do this, man.
Let's do it. So Telltale released a video yesterday and announced 3 new games. Batman, The Enemy Within, which is a sequel to Batman Telltale. The Walking Dead, The Final Season is what it's called. And then The Wolf Among Us 2, or Season 2.
All right.
So, I've been playing a lot of Telltale games over the last 8 months is when I started playing them. Play them, it was every Sundays, now it's moved to Tuesdays, but working through Minecraft, not feeling it at all.
Well, I mean, what do you expect?
I don't know what I expected. I don't know.
Like, honestly, that's something that shouldn't even have a fucking.
It's Patton Oswalt who's the voice of the main character. So I was like, okay, they got Patton Oswalt.
That man
there's
who
going to be
killed his wife.
No, the one who married the hot chick from Dream a Little Dream.
Yeah, right after he killed his wife.
He didn't. His wife had a disease that they didn't know about.
Is that so?
And then she mixed some pills with it.
Oh yeah, conveniently.
Yep.
Yeah, I know the guy. Go on.
But yeah, I'm not really enjoying it that much. I tell you, my favorite Telltale game though is The Wolf Among Us. At least what I've played so far. So seeing that Season 2 got announced so soon after I beat the first one or finished the first one makes me very excited. Kurt says, I watched a video where a guy went skydiving off of a metal cord, but the idiot took off his gloves and tried grabbing onto the wire to slow himself down. I expect him to not have a hand anymore, but it must have been a new wire because his hand was cut up, but still there. Interesting. Such cool actors doing such bad writing on such an uninteresting topic. But I like the pig all the same. Yeah. He has a little pig friend that follows him around.
Who's that one voiced by?
It's just like a
Melissa McCarthy or something?
Yeah.
Got him. Give me them ribs. Come here.
Come after these ribs.
Now, come on, bring them over.
These are my ribs. No man puts barbecue sauce on my ribs but me.
We'll see about that shit.
So yeah, Wolf Among Us 2.
So they did not announce Minecraft 2.
Minecraft 2 already came out. It came out last week was the first episode. Yeah. Something for The Walking Dead died recently. I saw that. He fell off of a tall building, fell 30 feet or something.
More importantly, George A. Romero died.
George A. Romero did die.
That is a bummer. For real.
Yeah. Lead singer of Linkin Park died too.
Yeah, and I don't
care
about that.
Hear about that one?
Look, I don't have to be sad every time somebody dies. Somebody dies every
second.
No, you don't have
to. You can be sad for the families.
Yeah, sure. I'm with you there.
Yeah.
I mean, Patton Oswalt's poor daughter.
Yeah. He watched... Let me start over. He was on Conan O'Brien a few months ago.
Her dad killed his mom. Poor little girl.
Stop. That's not very nice,
dude. I'm being only half joking about that. There has been a bunch of weird shit. I can go into it later.
I'm sure you found all this information on 4chan.
No. I swear, no. But go on. You were saying?
He was on Conan O'Brien, and he was talking about how hard, like, the harder than losing his wife is kind of working around the hoops or the challenges that he's had with his daughter. Mm. Like, he talked about on Mother's Day, how he's like, okay, on Mother's Day, I want to try to distract her as much as possible. So we're going to, like, you know, go to all these places and do all these fun things. And then he said they were at the airport, and the lady was, like, recognized Patton and was talking to him. Was like, I'm so sorry about what happened to your wife. And then just, like, started talking to his daughter about her dead mother, like, on Mother's Day. And, like, how cringeworthy it was and how awful that woman was. But she was just trying to be nice. She was just breaking this little girl's heart.
You know, I'm not saying that this is what it really is. You know, just something to think about. You know, think about it. What if they were going to go ride roller coasters and shit on Mother's Day, not because of a distraction, but as a celebration?
Celebrate. Because he wanted to marry the girl from Dream a Little Dream. About it. You guys seen Dream a Little Dream? Peb, you've had to have seen Dream a Little Dream. The Coreys, an old guy.
This show's exactly about, you know, this last, like, 6 or 7 minutes has shown, without question, how interesting Telltale games are. Like, in their entirety.
No, I'm excited.
Like, before playing them, you know, like, when you're playing them, they're fun, but, like,
well, we're
getting
on
the oomph to actually start them is hard sometimes.
When this prep ape was, you know, when I was going through it, there was initially a slide for Kingdom Hearts getting announced, like, a release date.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, this would be a good opportunity for us to talk about Kingdom Hearts. But, like, I thought that this information was more suited for a discussion than Kingdom Hearts having a 2018 release date or release year.
Season 4 will be the last Walking Dead. Yeah,
I'm very excited about that.
Me too, cool. Because it's like that's something that doesn't need to go on for fucking ever. You know what I mean? Like, wrap it up, and if you want to, you know, do something else. Yeah. That development slot
they do
that
lots
you have,
of things.
Do something else.
Dream a Little Dream is awesome. Yeah.
I know, but like, get a new IP. I know when you wrap up Walking Dead, like fill us up with something else exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Like, don't just keep milking
like
it
Tales
forever.
from Borderlands Season 2. Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, it's really good.
Okay, fair
I don't like Borderlands. Tales from Borderlands was very cool. Season 2 of Game of Thrones will release either during Season 7 or 8 of the show if they're making it. Yes. Considering we're in Season 7 right now, and it hasn't even been announced yet, it'll probably be during Season 8. Or Season 7.5, however they're calling it.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that stupid shit
What would get you to play one? What IP do you want, DKP?
No, I play them.
Which ones have you played?
No, never mind, I guess I don't. I've played Walking Dead.
Okay.
I played the first 2. In some of the third one.
2 episodes or first 2 seasons?
First 2 seasons.
Okay.
Yeah. And a wee bit of the third one. What would get me to play it?
Martin Scorsese Telltale.
Dude, fucking imagine like a Goodfellas one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Or Taxi Driver. How cool would that be?
Taxi Driver would not be cool.
Shut the fuck up. It'd be better in game form, I think. No. You could get the fuck out. All right? How about that?
He's done better movies.
Yeah, but that does not mean Taxi Driver's overrated and a twerd, sir.
Yeah, it is. It's a total twerd. I played all their games except for the older titles. Yeah, I have all those on the docket as well to play at some point.
Ooh, The Shining. Dude, I would... Oh, man. The Dark Tower, that'd be fucking cool.
Speaking of, did you see The Shining Funko Pops?
No, I didn't.
Just got announced or whatever.
Do they have a Scatman Crothers one? Old Dick Halloran?
I don't think so.
0 out of 10.
0 out of...
Shit Pops literally unbuyable. Dude, we're off.
That's all right. We're having a good time. Just to kind of close us out of this topic, I'm super excited about it. What I really like is Batman got announced yesterday. So as far as the day before yesterday,
How was
Telltale,
Batman, by the way?
It was the first Telltale game that I played all the way through. High points and low points.
Yeah.
High points and low points. I really liked they told like a very, Rick and Morty Telltale would be fucking incredible. I really liked
Oh shit, right?
Yeah. It was a very different take on Batman, which I really liked.
Yeah.
I'm going to give one spoiler for it.
All right.
And it's not a huge
just
spoiler,
one?
but yeah, just
okay.
one.
I can live with one.
One spoiler. So close your ears for 30 seconds if you don't want Batman Telltale spoiler that kind of sets up the whole thing. Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father, is a criminal in this game.
Ah. It's a lot different, yeah. Only he's a doctor. He's a surgeon.
I mean, he's still, like, very rich. He's just a crime boss.
But I mean, normally he's a surgeon, though.
Like, I mean, he might still be a surgeon, but he's a crime boss surgeon.
I mean, a good one. Like, people in the community are like, he's highly regarded.
Yeah. No, it is quite the opposite in this.
Huh. All right.
Which makes the whole thing. And when it starts out, Bruce Wayne, or Thomas Wayne, is not that. It just gets revealed to Gotham and Bruce at the same time that his dad was actually, like, high up on this list.
So was the alleyway murder supposed to be a hit? Let's put it, okay. Yeah. And I guess, like, that, makes more sense than a random mugging, but, I mean, you could either way take it or leave it. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. It completely alters the entire way that the story is told. Because Batman's, like, dealing with that and struggling with that. Because, in this you play as Bruce Wayne or Batman, you get to choose during times. You're like, do you want to tackle this as Bruce Wayne or as Batman? Sure. Can you just do the whole game as Bruce Wayne?
No.
I'm sure there were, like, but I mean, like...
But anytime that that choice is given to you, yes, you can always make that choice. But there are times where you have to be Batman.
Fair enough.
Kurt says, I'm not a fan of Batman, but I enjoyed it. If you live in a shitty city and you walk in an alleyway, then you deserve to be shot.
That really is your fault.
That's fair. But yeah, so back to what I was saying about Batman. Day before yesterday, it didn't even exist. And then yesterday it got announced, and it has a release date of August 8th, I think, which is in 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's really soon.
So for not existing to coming out in 3 weeks, at least the first episode, I guess.
Yeah, I wish more game publishers or developers, publishers would do that. Like,
that's how Half-Life's going to get revealed.
Shit.
It's on Steam now.
I mean, it's much like Hideo Kojima. It's like, this does happen every fucking where it's like, hey, yeah, here's our new game. By the way, you're going to be seeing trailers of it for like 3 years. And it's like, the long length of wait time for that is fucking agonizing.
I actually like the way Kojima does it. Like, a lot who I think doesn't do it well is somebody like Square. Where,
it's like 9 years?
Yeah, where, like, Final Fantasy VII, it's going to be a while before we see that. Kingdom Hearts 3, that got announced, like, I don't even know how long. 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And we finally got a next year release year. Didn't even get a date. Obviously, Final Fantasy 15 took a very, very long time. But I think what I like about Kojima is that he doesn't, like, shy away from it. He's just, like, he likes to do it in a creative way. He has this vision, and then that vision is like, okay, let's make a trailer. And then from that trailer, he gives that, like, him and his team, they make the trailer, and then the team says, okay, based on the trailer, like, here's the game. Let's make the game now. He does, like, the trailer first, as to, like, set the tone for all of his developers, for, like, this is what I want. Now, granted, they're obviously working on things like gameplay mechanics and things like that as they're working on stuff. But I really like that he uses it as a tone piece. He builds a trailer, and then he shows that off to the world. All his devs have a good understanding. Then he goes behind doors and he says, all right, guys, here's what the gameplay is like. Here's what I want everything to be like. Here's, like, a brief overview of the story. Now, like, go.
Right.
I really like that. I like the way Kojima does it, comparatively.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, just as an example, though.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's nice to have a mix of both. I think it's good to have one of those, like, Fallout 4 scenarios where announced in June, released in October or November. Same sort of thing with, like, Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, even though they got teased a year ago. But still, I like the short thing, and then I like the idea of having something to look forward to.
Sure, yeah.
And I know sorry, go ahead.
There's something to look forward to, and then there's, like, watching trailers for years.
Then there's, like, Metroid
no
Prime
release
4.
date. There's that too. But
hey, we're working on it, guys.
Yeah, it's like,
and people don't even officially know who's working on it. We just know it's a Nintendo dev team.
Platonic.
J Diggs,
what's up? But yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. It's a 3-week wait. I mean, like I said, they're a small enough developer to where they can get away with that.
For sure.
Like Mr. Kurtzen was saying, someone just, like, phantom dropping or shadow dropping a game under a different title. I I don't doubt that's been done already. I mean, it kind of already has the game called Frog Factions 2.
Yeah.
But for most anticipated anything like that, never going to happen. Way too big, like of a risk.
Yeah.
And they're in the business of not taking risks.
Well, that's talking about the sad tragedy of video games. We talk about this a lot, but from a development standpoint, video game announcements, although they are insanely fun to us, and we like the surprise and we like the reveal. I mean, we have a category every year for biggest surprise. Surprises are very, very important. At the same time, they are still a business that have, depending on the studio or development team, that have like shareholders to contend to. They have to say, hey guys, we will be making money in fiscal year, 21. Right. We'll have money coming in. Like, don't sell all your shares. We got stuff coming. It'll be all right.
I mean, they risk having like a Vivendi situation.
For sure.
Where it's like, if they don't have people there like holding on to that shit and backing them, like, no, they could just get acquired.
Speaking of, we haven't been talking about that. Like, additional news has been popping up about it. But there's one thing I heard recently on a podcast that I thought was super interesting. The Ubisoft press conference at E3 was a way for Ubisoft to tell the world not to let what is it? Vivendi take them over.
That's not exactly what I got out of it.
But I'll go into it a little bit, because I didn't get that either until it was kind of explained. Beyond Good and Evil is a game that, they've talked about Beyond Good and Evil 2 for a long time.
Was it because they're saying, like, okay, Mario Rabbids and Beyond Good and Evil, like, this would not happen under Vivendi?
Exactly. This would not happen under Vivendi's control. So, yes, we're going to do our Just Dances. Yes, we're going to throw another open world Ghost Recon type thing. Like, we're going to have the big AAA stuff, which, by the way, Ubisoft is doing incredibly well. For Honor and Ghost Recon are the 2 best-selling games of the year right now.
Yeah, but dude, I bet For Honor was like an initial spike if everyone bought it.
Oh, for sure. My guess is it's dropped off.
Because it's been shit. The game is shit. Period. They did not
can't speak to it personally.
Well, I can. And they did not keep up with development. They did not fix anything. No balancing. Basically, they sold it. They set it and forget it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But also at the same time, doesn't this seem a little bit disingenuous how it's like, hey, all these things that people have wanted for a long time? Well, now we're going to do them. Now that we might be fucking taken over. You know what I mean? Like, as a show of good faith.
I think they were always working on them. It was just the idea that, like, when were they going to show them? Like, Rabbids supposedly was in development for Wii U. Like, that's been in the works for a long time. And supposedly they had to drop a bunch of ideas for Beyond Good and Evil 2, and they picked that up about 2 years ago. They've just been working on the engine for the last couple of years. They haven't had a focused dev team on it, but they've still been working on it. So I don't think it's necessarily that they're just now dropping all of this stuff. I think it's the format and fashion that they're doing these things. It's the way they're doing, like, that ape. What's it called? Space chimps?
Space apes or some shit.
Yeah, it's basically where you can join this group and then watch the development of Beyond Good and Evil 2, like, as it goes along, and then provide feedback and stuff like that. Like, I think that is a more specific example of why the whole Vivendi takeover, it's their way of, like, combating that. Saying, like, our independence allows us to do things like this. A Vivendi takeover takes this type of thing out of our hands. So.
Well, I mean, it might be embarrassing to just come right out and fucking say it, but they probably should. Because, like...
they have talked about it.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they should have even said that at E3. Might be embarrassing, but it's like, it is a very real fucking threat for them.
For sure.
And if they do get taken over, those games probably will be fucking whacked immediately.
It could be, which is heartbreaking.
Evil 2.
Ubisoft is, of the big 3 AAA devs, Activision, EA, and Ubisoft is my favorite, so I would be the most heartbroken to see them lose control.
Alright, let's it's a console week. We got For Honor's total shit. It was like it was made in the Dark Ages. Indeed. For Honor, you're going to play the campaign once and never touch the multiplayer. No, not me. I bought it for the multiplayer. Because I thought it would be similar to, like, Dark Souls multiplayer, where it's, like, very personal, very, like, visceral, but it was not. Or you're going to play multiplayer for a month, hate yourself and everyone else. That's more likely my, that was more my experience with it. I've never played it since, and I bought the fucking gold edition. It was like $100 fucking too.
RIP.
Digital. Oof.
Kurt says, I don't hold any love for Ubisoft, but fuck Vivendi.
Yep,
I
same.
agree. All right, let's move on.
All right.
Stadium event sells big. All right, I got an article for this. Kotaku article I want to read real quick. Kotaku, written by Chris Kohler.
They would hire someone named Chris Kohler, wouldn't they?
A sealed copy of the rare Nintendo Entertainment System game Stadium Events has sold for $41,977. The seller has confirmed to Kotaku. While the owner had originally attempted to sell the game through an eBay auction earlier this month, the winning bidder did not pay, the seller said in an email.
That's very standard for that sort of shit.
Yeah, but after speaking with a serious buyer, a private deal has now been struck and a payment has changed hands, making this one of the highest confirmed prices a single game has ever sold for. Of all the games that Nintendo officially licensed for its 8-bit NES, Stadium Events is by far the rarest, because it was only on shelves for a brief window of time.
Wait, can you repeat that last part?
Of all the games that Nintendo officially licensed for its 8-bit NES, Stadium Events is by far the rarest, because it was only on shelves for a brief window of time before it was pulled and replaced with a world-class track meet. Last year, ESPN the magazine ran an extensive feature about the game's history and the collectors who covet it. A loose cartridge can sell for nearly $10K. A copy with its original box and manual is worth north of $20K. And this particular copy is only one of only a few that are still in the original shrink wrap. As part of the deal, the seller says the game's condition was assessed by the Video Game Authority, where it received a grade of 85 plus out of a possible 100, which is very good indeed.
Yep.
Selling a high-value collectible can be a nerve-wracking experience, and it can come as a huge relief to a seller to finally have the transaction completed. Quote, with all the hassles of the auction, we were blessed with this buyer, the seller said. Quote, he was a man of his word, trustworthy, and deserves the highest graded Stadium Events completely.
All right. So, yeah, J-Dick says the fuck only because it's rare. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of collecting, though. I mean,
absolutely.
No, I'm pretty familiar with that game. It's one of the top two. There's that, and of course, Nintendo World Championships.
Yep.
Fun fact: a lot of people have whoopsed online and paid way more money for a. Okay, so there's the PAL version and there's the NTSC version.
Yeah.
The PAL version at most is only worth maybe $1,000 of that game.
Yeah.
The NTSC version, like I said, around 10K loose cartridge. See, a lot of people have paid up to 10K for the PAL version and realized they got fucked. So yeah, is the game good? It doesn't matter.
Irrelevant.
Yeah, it really is
irrelevant. It could be the worst game ever.
I'm gonna go ahead and probably I'm gonna take a stab at it and say no.
Yeah.
But no, it really doesn't matter.
Rudy says Burt Reynolds bought it. I mean,
I believe it. No, I believe it.
Leave it here.
So yeah, this was kind of to go into just collecting period a little bit. You wanted to do a small bit of talking about that.
Yeah, the general idea is I want to talk about. I guess one of the things that I talked about is man, I wish I had the capital to be able to do something like that. Like if let's say I won the lottery, I wouldn't focus on buying cars and houses and things like that. I would focus on video game collections, and things like this would be something I would be trying to acquire. And as far as collections go, I think the NES collection, a full collection of NES games, is, in my opinion, the most sought after collection that I would want. And I know you personally because you've attempted to.
I got about 500 up there, so.
And there are
5 or 6.
What's the total number on it for US?
What do you mean?
US
there's about 800.
So yeah, you're working your way there.
Anything now is at least $50 to $100 plus, and it can easily jump up to $500-$700, $1,000.
When I started getting serious about collecting, I started with N64, which to me was a good angle to go from because there are only 296 games released in the US, and they're all pretty obtainable. There were only two semi-challenging games in terms of ones that are hard to find. Clay Fighter 63 1/3 Director's Cut, and then a Razor Blade, those Razor scooters. I can't remember the name of it, but it's a Razor Blade game because both of them were Blockbuster rental exclusives. The only way to play those games was to rent them for Blockbuster. You couldn't buy them in a retail shop. So finding those games was a little more tricky. But even then, the most expensive one that I got was Clay Fighter, and it was $100. Just the cartridge. If you get it with the manual, so the cartridge and the manual is going to run you about $5. And then if you could find a complete one, or even a sealed one, I don't even know if a sealed version of that exists, because it was something that you got for Blockbuster, then I'm sure that would run way more. But just the cartridge cost me about $100.
Let's see. Worst game ever heard, E.T. You can get E.T. Yeah, okay, so remember E.T. the shoveling some gas money. That was true, but I'm pretty sure all the landfill copies are now scalped. Like, I don't think...
Yeah, they did, a couple of years ago, they did that dig thing, where they dug them all up. Because it was rumored...
I would have loved to have gotten one of those fucking copies.
It was rumored that they were in that landfill, and a lot of people had, secondhand knowledge that it was there. But it was also... But they didn't
but there were a lot of people also who thought that was just a rumor in itself, that they were ever even put into a landfill.
That's what I'm saying. So
let alone had found the exact one.
Yeah, so they ended up, making kind of a documentary out of it. Okay, let's find the site, let's dig it up, let's see if they're there. And as it turns out, they absolutely were. So I bet frivolous purchases like this make your mustache grow. Probably.
Hey, man.
If you won the lottery, you could buy every N64 game without going broke. You can buy every N64 game without going broke now. I have every N64 game released in the US, and it took me 3 months, and I wasn't making killer money at the time. But you go to a secondhand store, and 100 of the 300 were sports games.
I know, that's the most terrible thing.
There's 20 different
200 out of the 800 or 300 out of the 800 are fucking sports games for even NES.
Yeah, and those games run you $2 a piece. You can get the 4 or 5 Madden games for less than $10 total.
You can look like you have an impressive collection very quickly.
Yeah,
just by buying all the shit titles, most of them sports games.
Yep.
I think the most expensive one that I have, as far as the most rare, would be... I have Action 52 for the NES with a manual, box, and insert, which I think that's going for around $500 right now. I think I bought it for about $250 back. Yeah,
that's the cool thing.
2012.
This is how much we paid for them back then, but they are worth significantly more now. Even Clay Fighter, I don't think you could get for $100 now.
No, I checked it recently. Actually, it's around $200.
Yeah.
See, about doubled. Meanwhile, Conker's Bad Fur Day has gone down to $75.
Interesting.
Because it used to be around $100, $115.
Well, when I got it, I think I paid $60 for it.
Maybe I'm full of shit then.
I don't know. I
want to play Vector Man for Sega. I have that bitch.
Yeah.
So I got my original copy.
Shitty thing about Vector Man is, and this is kind of a shitty thing about Genesis games in general, what I liked about Genesis games is they came in those badass, hard plastic cases. But Vector Man and, I think Sonic and Knuckles and, probably about 93 or 94, they started putting them in cardboard cases similar to, Super Nintendo. So, finding a complete one in good condition has become significantly more challenging.
Well, it's basically shopping for the SNES at that point.
Yeah.
In which were all fucking cardboard cartridges. Or, not cartridges, boxes.
I wanted to pick up Chrono Trigger recently because, since we started playing this and we were going to do Chrono Trigger.
That thing's fucking expensive now.
It's not too bad. I mean, it's not great. It's over $100 for just the cart.
Yep.
But I saw complete ones and stuff, and I was like, I kind of want to get a complete one. And they're upwards of $300. So,
God damn.
I ended up buying the DS one for $17 for DS.
You better not play it till we play it here.
No, I don't intend to. I just wanted to make sure I owned it because we're probably going to do the ROM.
If you put Vector Man in the Knuckles expansion slot, it totally plays with us some weird shit.
Vector Man plays or Knuckles plays? Because that's one of the cool things about Sonic and Knuckles.
Probably Sonic and Knuckles.
So Sonic and Knuckles, there are mini games. There's a mini game in Sonic and Knuckles. It's a 3D mini game where you're running around a maze, collecting. So what's cool is if you put a game that is not Sonic and Knuckles into it, not a non-Sonic game into Sonic and Knuckles, then it gives you a different mini game. And I don't know if it's if they're randomized or something like that, but every game I had on Genesis had a different stage.
That kind of reminds me of Monster Hunter? Monster Rancher. Where you put in discs and you get random shit. Or, me and Zod back in the day put in the Men in Black soundtrack, because we own that.
Of course.
You better fucking believe it. And we thought it was so cool because we actually got an alien monster from it. Could have been completely fucking random, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But, it was pretty... That was a really neat mechanic, though, back then.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really... Obviously, you and I are not as financially stable as we once were, but hopefully you and I one day can get back into collecting. I got to say this. I know you've talked about it and you're contemplating it and all this. Do not sell off your game collection. I have one regret in life, and it's selling off my game collection in like 2006.
Right, but
here's the thing. I started buying them all back, but like still have that regret.
Here's the thing, though. 90% of the fun to me is collecting.
Yeah, but you're not done yet.
It would be a different story if you're done. I'm never going to be done.
Well, then continue on that path and don't have to start this whole thing over again.
Now, look, I might have to get rid of one or two.
I'll say this, it will get very confusing for you. Because, like, it's very confusing. I could not tell you which Super Nintendo games I own. Because I had a collection of, like, 60, and then I got rid of them. Well, I have over the last couple of years.
I actually have all mine cataloged. So, where, like, when I remove... Even when I loan them out to somebody... Yeah. I have a website that I go to that catalogs all of them. So I would know like exactly which ones I have owned and all that.
Totally get all that. But if you get rid of them all and you start from scratch, you're still going to have that questioning feeling of like, I remember having Karnov. Like, Karnov is a great example. I don't know if I have Karnov. I knew at one time I had Karnov on NES. I don't know if right now I have Karnov.
What a shame, man. How do you fucking live with yourself?
Yeah, sell your jizz. One regret was selling my game collection years ago and letting my siblings have stuff. See?
Well, that's different. Like, I feel deep regret for letting a friend of mine borrow Chrono Trigger back in the day. The copy that we just owned. And then basically lost it. And I'll never fucking forget that shit because, like, yeah, I had to rebuy that game. And it was like $100.
Yep. I'm okay with you selling off a couple of your, like, super expensive ones. But to, like, get rid of the whole thing is just heartbreaking.
All right, okay. I gotta do what I gotta do, but I'm cutting the top leaves off first. You know, yeah. The ones that sell for the most if I need.
Karnov was the weirdest shit I ever played when I was little. I thought I was dumb.
Jizz.
Because I could never.
You know. I don't think either one of us can sell our loads. You have to have a fucking bachelor's degree to do that. Did you know that?
I did know that.
Like, we only take the smartest cum. Like, okay,
that's fair.
It's like, what if I'm successful in other ways? What if I'm really cool?
I think there are more things in life that should require bachelor degrees too. But
yeah, but like
we're not gonna get into all that.
Yeah, sure. Let's see. All fluids must go. Plasma. Did I give all my plasma for fucking free? I feel like I'm fucking being a retard. I should go to the blood center when they like come into the blood drive and be like, no, you're gonna pay me for this. Everyone else is giving it for free like a bunch of suckers. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mm-hmm. So next time I have $43,000. I'm buying stadium events. Boxed. Actually, realistically, I'd be completely fine with the one that's not.
I'd just get one of those.
I don't need a sealed one. Yeah, a loose cart's completely fine for me. Going for the whole sealed thing, that's too much, bro. Too much.
I think that is probably actually impossible. There are probably at least one or two games within your entire NES library that simply do not have sealed copies in circulation right now.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, let's move on.
All right.
All right, last week we talked about... What's wrong with you? You got that sticky icky on there?
Somebody spilled something on the keyboard.
It's probably you.
Motherfucker. All right, let's continue. I'll deal with that after this.
Last week we talked about video games should not make movies out of video games. Instead, they should make TV shows. Castlevania obviously was what inspired that conversation because, surprisingly, the Castlevania cartoon/anime that's on Netflix, not a turd. It's actually good. It might be, only time will tell, but it might be the best video game adaptation, at least from
very well could be
in your hands to on your television screen adaptation that could exist. So, thought we would go reverse this time, but specifically. Can you hear me, DKP? Specifically.
Oh, I hear you.
AAA games. Not like, hey, they should make, like, a Breaking Bad Telltale game. Telltale games are not AAA. I'm talking AAA, $50 million plus budget.
Jesus.
Yeah. AAA game. Which TV shows should they convert? Now, obviously, the image here I started is the newer Netflix Voltron, because I think a incredibly good Voltron game would be rad. Like, not even open world, but like open planet. You have a whole planet that you can explore, and even beyond that, because in Voltron they can travel to different planets. So give you the ability to go out in space and things like that. And not like No Man's Sky, but bigger and better. Tons of alien races. There's, very clear, like, at least with the newer Voltron series, Mass Effect vibes. So something on that level. Something like on a Mass Effect scale. I think would be really cool for Voltron.
All right. That's interesting. I would say Castlevania. Yeah, you like that?
All right, let's move on.
No, I was thinking, if you could, there's two ways to do this. One wrong, one right. Okay, like Game of Thrones, for example.
Yeah.
We already have Telltale, but get that out of here, right?
Do like The Witcher.
That would be if it was done correctly.
Yeah, that's the thing here. It's like this is incredibly robust, large, expensive games. Mm-hmm. Ones that they have to have season passes to help recoup the cost of the games. Like, these are huge AAA, the best of the best, like top 10 best devs in the world are working on these games. So, yeah, I would say CD Projekt
But I mean, you
Red.
do risk it being something like Kingdoms of Amalur or the many Lord of the Rings Electronic Arts games that came out.
Yeah.
Where it's like, there's your robust fantasy game, but here's how you can do it where it it does not make use of that IP in its entirety. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So are we specifically talking like...
This is a TV show,
TV
a television
shows,
program.
not movies, TV shows.
Not movies.
Okay.
Television programs. It can be animated. It can be live action. I think like something like Reboot. Did you ever watch Reboot back in the day?
Let me stop you. Fuck that. Be better if it was The Real Adventures of Johnny Quest.
Okay.
Right? If you really want your shitty 2D anime, or your shitty, early...
Reboot was dope, bro. Did you watch cartoons as a kid?
Yeah.
What'd you watch? What were the ones you watched and liked? That today that you're like, man, I really enjoyed that cartoon.
I watched a lot of Scooby-Doo when I was a kid.
I really want a Scooby-Doo Telltale game. I've talked about that before.
Because I remember, we had Cartoon Network when that
but...
first came out, and that was when it first came out, they ran basically just Scooby-Doo,
and Hanna-Barbera shit.
Yeah,
Jetsons
for years and years and years.
Wacky races.
So that was a lot of shit I grew up with. Hong Kong Phooey, the Snorks.
Okay. That's weird because that stuff's 20 years before you.
I know. I remember watching the Banana Splits, and my mom being like, "I watched the show when I was a little girl," and it was like,
and you're like, "Now I'm a little girl."
One banana, two banana, three. You remember that shit?
No, I was watching cartoons from the 90s
and
the 90s.
Chuck E. Cheese characters, mascots.
Did you watch Biker Mice from Mars or anything like that?
We did eventually get Nickelodeon.
Pirates of Darkwater.
No, and we had Ren and Stimpy was on, and then Rocko's Modern Life and all that.
So you never watched any of the ABC, Fox?
No.
Any of those kind of cartoons? Interesting. Street Sharks?
I was aware of it, but...
Did I say Pirates of Darkwater? That show was great.
No, I never saw it.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper?
I wanted to watch Tales from the Crypt.
Tales from the Crypt Keeper?
But nope.
The animated one? How are you older than me?
Dude, I'm telling you, most of the cartoon shows would not make good. They were your older shit.
Yeah, you watched a lot of
antiquated.
Yeah. Which, don't get me wrong, the only 90s kids will appreciate type shows. I'm over that kind of thing, but I have a lot of fond memories. Denver the Last Dinosaur.
I have no idea what that is.
Man.
I don't feel like I know what that is because they had toys that my friends played with, but I didn't know what the fuck it was. I thought they were Voltron toys.
DKP is what, 52? DKP is 27?
Yeah.
So you were born in 1990.
Yep.
So in 1996, you should have been hot and heavy into those cartoons.
Dude, that was still when it was Flintstones, fucking Jetsons.
There is a station that had those, but that is not...
Dude, Cartoon Network for the first, I can't even tell you how long. That was the majority of their block.
Yeah.
That was it. Then you eventually started getting cartoons.
It just blows my mind that you didn't watch Saturday morning cartoons. Or after school cartoons.
I had two older brothers and sisters who weren't watching that.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you were at the mercy of older
I remember
siblings.
I actually had a weird, shitty flashback when I was in Vegas, like PTSD for a second when I saw something. I went, and a memory hit me. You remember that show Wacky Racers?
Are you asking me? Of course I do.
I remember the moment my childhood ended. It was when I was watching that show. My brother and sister came in, and they were like, "Hey, can we watch something else?" And I was watching Wacky Race. And I remember who's the broad on that? That's like
who's the broad on that?
It's only one woman.
That shows you what an old soul you are.
But she goes, y'all fighting over little old me. And I remember my brother goes, "This shit's fucking stupid as fuck. Can you change it or stupid?"
Man.
And I was like, "Oh."
Hey, Canada.
I felt like such a little retarded ass kid. So.
How'd you let them kids treat?
It was at that point. It was at that point that I started
like
getting embarrassed about watching cartoons and shit.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
Yeah, it was bad.
Never been embarrassed.
And I saw they had a slot machine of that in Vegas, and I was like,
I always what's cool about growing up or being an adult in today's era is being a nerdy kid who has toys and shit. Like totally works nowadays. But like I got out of toys and cartoons way too late. Like I was still into them in like middle school and high school. Did you watch Beetlejuice or Addams Family? Those cartoons? Those seemed like they're up your alley.
We had some that were recorded on VHS. Okay. So I had about 3.5 episodes with commercials that I watched like over and over again with my Home Alone 2 Lost in New York VHS tape.
Gotcha. Okay.
So yeah, like I was aware of that one, but like never caught it coming on TV though.
All right. While we were going over this list of cartoons, I figured out something. Inspector Gadget. AAA Inspector Gadget, like it's like a Metroid Prime, but third person. And like how you get upgrades, like you work with like Penny and stuff, and you get upgrades to be able to upgrade your robotic gear. And you like get new quests and stuff like that. Message will self-destruct kind of thing.
That'd be pretty cool. Yeah.
That'd be dope. Gargoyles?
I did watch Gargoyles.
There you go.
Yeah, because that came on Cartoon Network.
That was a Disney Channel show. That came on Disney.
I swear to God it came on Cartoon Network. There was one point where it did. It might have been like way later when like Toonami was coming on. But like I remember that show.
I'm not 100% confident in anything in life. Even this. So I'll give it to you. But I don't like it.
Alright, that's fair.
Inspector Gadget Lego game? Yeah. Anything else that comes to mind? Any adult television shows?
Dude, like the only adult TV shows I can think of. Like, this is a harder topic, believe it or not, than you would think. Because it's like, okay, what did I watch recently? I watched fucking Narcos, and it's like
Grand Theft Auto.
There was an old PlayStation 2 game called The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Where it was basically like it was a movie based off The Great Escape.
Yeah.
And yeah, you would just like go sneak around, do like with shitty stealth and escape like a Nazi concentration camp. And it's like I could see it being that sort of game, like
Narcos?
Yeah, just like something really shitty like that.
To me, Narcos is like one of those city builders.
Yeah, but it's like
build up this drug
so there's
empire.
that. I mean, there's like Better Call Saul. It's like none of the shit that I'm currently like watching on TV would make a good game, except for maybe Game of Thrones. I already blew my load on that one. So it's like I don't know. Here you go. Fuck it, the Snorks. Or Captain Caveman. The Legend of the Hairy Pickle. You know what I'm saying? That's what I always thought he was.
A hairy pickle.
Yep.
J. Diggs says The Leftovers Heavy Rain style. I could see that. Have you watched The Leftovers yet?
No, I haven't.
You need to watch it. It's incredible.
Pretending as though I knew.
It's like 30 episodes. The entire series has a beginning and an end. Like it has an ending. Like they're like, hey, we're going to do a final season.
I could see a mafia type game based around Fargo.
That'd be dope.
Which basically was J. Diggs is a GTA, but I think more like Mafia. We already have that. It's called what is it? Deadly Premonition.
Yeah.
Alan Wake style. Yeah, I would like it. Yeah, I would like some more Alan
Orange is the New Black Telltale. I would Chester Bennington out of my life if there was an Orange is the New Black Telltale game. Out of there, bro.
The fuck are you talking about?
Chester Bennington's the guy from Linkin Park.
Oh, okay, I see. All right. Well, you know what? We're at 54 minutes. We do have to.
Let's move on.
This ticking along.
Let's move on.
This is our last topic, right?
Game of the year. This
is our last topic, right?
This is our last topic.
I think we'll still make time.
Yeah, we might go a little longer, but yeah. So I'm going to go over the list of probablys that'll probably be in the tops.
What is this topic about? Is it just Game of the Year?
It's basically like what we think.
Or what?
It's a combination of all that. Here are the Game of the Year contenders that are world renowned that are known on the internet as the current contenders for Game of the Year, or that I think would be. And which one of these have you played? Which ones do you intend to play? And then, what is your current Game of the Year and stuff like that? What do you think will win Game of the Year? What do you, when I say that, like,
sure.
Overall from, like, Game of the Year awards, like the...
Wait, is this for us or just, like...
Everything, including us.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I'll go over the list first. So, Resident Evil 7, obviously I had to start there because people, you know, they're forgetting it. They're not talking about it as much as they should.
It came out in January.
It came out in January.
That's why people are forgetting it. Like, yep. I played through that game roughly 9 times. 7 to 9 times at the very minimum. And yeah, like I haven't thought about it in a while.
Yeah.
Like a platinum.
Neo, I think, has a possibility of being in the conversation.
Well, I'll tell you this, like, Resident Evil is not going to win any Game of the Year awards.
I think it has a possibility to win Chainsaw Apes.
Yeah, except for maybe ours.
Yes. I think it has a strong possibility. Like, we both love Zelda a lot.
But, dude, okay, look.
Whatever. We'll
Battlefield 1 came out last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Call of Duty's coming out this year. You're going to see that. You're going to see Prey, probably.
You're not going to see Call of Duty. Call of Duty's never make it that far.
I bet you will this year.
You think so?
I don't think it'll be worth it, but I bet you'll see it this year.
Interesting.
Uncharted 4 was last year, Pep. Sorry, man. Remember that one, the Chainsaw Game of the Year last year?
Yep.
Yeah, you're going to see Prey. You're probably going to see...
Neo. Nier Automata.
You're going to see that for sure.
And Persona 5.
Possibly the new Wolfenstein.
Persona 5.
But I don't think you're going to see Resident Evil. Resident Evil as a game, with its scope and everything included, is too quaint.
Yeah.
Like, it's perfect.
Small scale.
It's great.
It's
but it's too quaint for the main masses to be like, yeah, this is fucking Game of the Year.
Yeah.
You know? That's why, unfortunately, I don't think
Resident Evil, I think Neo has a possibility to get some nominations, at least, we'll say. Nier Automata, Persona 5, Horizon Zero Dawn, Breath of the Wild.
Oh my god, yeah, you're gonna see that.
Yeah, Breath of the Wild's gonna... Let's hold off on...
Let me get through the list. That's the most fun and entertaining game this year, but
let me get through the list.
You will probably see that at the top of 1,000 lists.
Yeah, let me get through the list, and then we'll get into all of our speculation.
Okay, yeah, sorry.
I think Wolfenstein has a shot to make some people's lists. Prey, I think, is going to probably make some lists. When I say lists, I mean nominations.
Right.
I don't think Prey is going to get, more. I think I'd be shocked if it got more than one Outlets Game of the Year. I think Super Mario Odyssey is going to get a lot of noms.
You know what? A lot of noms. You're such a fucking douche. I would like that. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I think it will. And then Wolfenstein, which I may have.
Because if it gets those noms, that means it's good. Which I hope it is.
It's going to be good.
Well, dude, but like you never know.
Yeah, but
it could Mario fucking Galaxy us, where it's good, but
you have a fair point in that, like, even if the world says it's incredible, you and I might not think it's incredible. But I'm feeling confident on this one. Feeling confident. It got so many Game of Shows for E3, like so many. It was the one game that everybody who played games at E3 came away fucking losing their minds for. So yeah, I think it's going to be in the conversation. I definitely think that when all is said and done, Breath of the Wild is going to take so many Game of the Years. So
quite legitimately, that's like I don't think it should. Let me rephrase that. I don't think it should win the amount it's going to.
Yeah.
It's a great game. I don't think it's the most like revolutionary, incredibly incredible, holy fuck, this is tremendous. But yeah, I truly think like Game Awards, all the big ones, that's without question going to be the Game of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Game Awards is going to give it to it. IGN, GameSpot, Easy Allies, super confident they're going to give it to them.
Like, the thing is this, like, it's great. But I think it's only that extra step greater because it's Zelda for so many people.
To me, I love Breath of the Wild. And I was a Breath of the Wild naysayer for a very long time. I've been a Breath of the Wild naysayer longer than I've been a Breath of the Wild fan.
Look, it's hard to say it sucks because it doesn't.
It doesn't.
But it's not the best game to come out. Well, in my opinion, it's not. It's if it is the best game to come out this year, it's not by leagues and bounds like people are going to talk about it.
I think that's fair. I think what makes it so good for me is there was a feeling I had while playing that game that I haven't had in a very long time. There is this I think the thing that it nails the most.
I was giving you one of them while you were playing.
I'm sure you were.
And it was, the last time we did that, Max Payne 3.
Oh.
I kept these fingers to myself until then.
So there's a feeling that I had specifically when exploring that game, when like looking for shrines or when looking for Korok seeds or anything like that. Just simply like being in the world and walking around and like the moment-to-moment gameplay of it hooked me in a way that I did not expect. Even with something like weapon durability, a stamina meter, which I don't like stamina meters or weapon durability in anything, they both worked well enough in that game to not bother me. Like, they didn't bother me. I felt like they did them well. They did the game justice.
The stamina meter, I thought, was done. It was great. Great idea.
The most frustrating part of that game is the stamina meter in regards to range.
Well, I mean, there's that. Sure. But I think, without question, the weapon durability is the worst part of that game. And the fact that, like, everything's tied directly into it, like, really... It takes away from, I think, what it could have been. Because it takes away so much from exploration. You're not, you're all right, better JDegs.
Letters.
But, like, instead of focusing on exploration and doing all this shit, you're focusing purely on, oh god, what weapon do I want to use? I have a fucking 1,000 of them, and I don't want to use any of them because I don't know when the next one will get a great one. And it's micromanagement and inventory management of the wrong kind. Like, Resident Evil, the originals and all that, like, is inventory management of the right kind. Where it aids to the gameplay, it aids to the, depending on how you can make things more challenging in a more, like, clever way rather than just like, fuck.
See, I feel like that is how it works in Breath of the Wild.
I fucking disagree.
Where you're like, okay, I don't have any swords, so I'm going to use magnesis to pick up this thing and knock this enemy, 40 feet into the air.
Maybe I'm just a boring piece of shit, but I think I did that twice, and it was like, okay, this is more hassle than it is fun, and I just want to get to where I'm going to do what I want to do.
That's fine. I'm not saying.
No, I'm saying like maybe that's a dig on me, and that's why like I just didn't get the most out of the game. But
yeah, I mean, I think that's completely fair. I think Horizon Zero Dawn needs to be talked about. I think Horizon Zero Dawn, if Zelda didn't exist, would probably be my game of the year. But what sucks is as good as Horizon is, like, the combat is exceptional, the visuals are exceptional, the story is interesting and good. There are a few things I don't like. A lot of the outfits in the game. I don't like the way the people talk in the game. There's a couple of like things that kind of shy me away from enjoying it as much as I could have. But the worst thing is that the existence of that in Zelda runs so closely together for me that Horizon is probably not even going to be like my second favorite game of the year. Whereas I think if Zelda didn't exist, it would be my favorite. Does that make sense? Because it kind of doesn't make sense me saying it. But basically, there is a game like Horizon that I enjoy more, which is Zelda. So it kind of takes away from how good Horizon is, which is really unfortunate because Horizon is phenomenal.
Not picking up what you're putting down.
I think where I end up at the end of the day, I think, at least as of, what's today, the 20th? As of July 20th, 2017, it goes Zelda, Resident Evil, Horizon for me right now.
So right now, Zelda's your game of the year?
Yeah.
Damn.
I'm very confident Zelda's going to be my game. I'd be shocked if even Mario Odyssey, which Mario Odyssey looks incredible. I'd be shocked if even Mario Odyssey took it. There's a few comments I want to hit real quick, and then a couple other things we can talk about, and then we'll end the show.
All right, you want the comments you said?
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little bit of scrolling up here. And
what would you play if you could only play 2 games for the next 2 years?
One would be World of Warcraft. Just because, like, if I have to have a game that I can only play, it's got to be something that has that much content that I can just mindlessly fuck around with.
I think it would be.
If I need to. That'd be first one.
My first one would also be World of Warcraft. I've never played. I've never played it before, but if I can only play, I've never played before. But if there's a game that you're like, I've never played this before, and you're like, I can only play this and one other game for 2 years.
And I have to have like something with 2 years of content. Yeah, that'd be a good one to start at.
Yeah. And then some sort of, and I don't know 100%, but like maybe something like Splatoon 2. Now, granted, I know I'm saying that and it's about to come out, but just something that I could get incredibly good at, like something that. If you interchange that with something else, it would be a game that I would want to, because that's always my problem with multiplayer games is I don't ever want to spend the time and dedication to be like the best at that game. But if I have to play something for 2 years, something like like Battlefield and like Battlefront, both of those games are on 2-year cycles, meaning they release DLC for 2 years.
Sure.
Splatoon 2, when it comes out, it's going to be on a 2-year cycle, meaning it's going to have Splatfests and DLC for 2 years, or specifically DLC for 1 year, and then Splatfest for 2 years. So something that's on a 2-year cycle to where, like, I have the ability to be one of the best. Like, be able to put the time in to practice to get really good at. But then something like World of Warcraft where I have, like, stories and adventures to go on and things to collect, I would need something like that. So, yeah.
Not a bad answer. I'd say my other one would be probably something like Dark Souls 3. Because I could probably learn how to like speed run that. You know what? Scratch that. Neo. That game has a shitload of like evolving content in it. The PvP is still kind of alive. There's a lot of customization. That would probably be World of Warcraft Neo. Just if I had to fill slots for 2 years.
Makes sense. Zod says weapon durability was garbage. It was the first game in years I couldn't put down for over a week and put in 60 to 80 hours. No games have scored me like that in a long time. It's a good way to describe it because I feel the same way. I was like playing that game in movie theaters before movies started. Mage T, I'm going to be you for Halloween. Ooh. Still haven't finished Horizon.
Please get pictures of that.
There's some weird ass hats in Horizon. Yeah, there are. Go to the boss with a timer, and it was like, nah. If you can only play 2 games in 2 years, then you better get good at it by the end of those 2 years. Exactly. Mine will be NBA 2K17 and NBA 2K16.
This man knows what's
up.
Good
list. So we've said what we think is going to get Game of the Year from all the outlets. What do you think it's going to get from us? I think it's going to end up being.
I think it's going to be Resident Evil 7
because Resident Evil is going to end up very high on both of our lists.
Yeah.
And then because the way we do it is point values. So if like we do an individual top 10. My number 1 game would get 10 points. My number 2 game would get 9 points. So my number 1 game is going to be Zelda. My number 2 game is going to be Resident Evil. That would be 9 points. Would you say Resident Evil is going to be yours as of right now?
Between that and Prey.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say it would either get 10 points or 9 points. Yep. So it's going to end up with either 19 or 18 points. I don't think anything else is going to touch that. So pretty sure, predicting that Resident Evil 7 is going to be our game.
What's going on, Mr. Mysterious
Very
Man?
Mysterious dude. Final thing that I want to say is what of the games that we mentioned earlier of the nominations that you have not played that you want to play?
Persona 5.
I want to play Persona 5 as well.
I've heard so much good shit about that.
Yeah. What's the name of that Japanese magazine, video game magazine that's super popular? Famitsu. Yeah. They gave it the number 1 RPG of all time recently, like last week.
I mean,
I'm just saying.
You can't always trust Famitsu, though. You know what I mean?
Like, you don't have to go into defense mode of like, oh, they're probably wrong. I'm just saying.
No. I mean,
I'm not saying
they also said that Mario, Super Mario World or Mario 64 was the best action game of all time. Like, they're very much like if it's Japanese enough, kind of like Nintendo, how they market their stuff.
Yeah,
like that's what they focus on.
Where I'm coming from though is not a place of like, I believe in Famitsu and that they are like the people who like I get behind and I trust them and I agree with them. It's more in the lines of like, this game is so good that one of the longest running gaming outlets of all time gave it the number 1 RPG of all time. So that speaks to that game is worth not overlooking, I guess is the better way to put it. Mage T drinks too much. I'm almost out right now.
Yeah, all right.
Persona 5.
DKP, Prey is going to be on your list, but it broke on. Well, that's why Resident Evil 7 is going to take number 1, probably. I heard it was amazing, but turn-based combat hasn't aged all that well. I disagree. We've been playing back through Final Fantasy 7.
That game's rad.
And it's just as great.
That game's so rad, we should play it tonight.
Of all time. Oh, we're gonna.
We should play it in 30 minutes.
Oh, we're gonna.
So, Persona 5. What else? I really want to play through Nier. I mean, I'm sorry, not Nier, Neo.
And I do need to play through Nier.
Nier's really good. I played through Nier. Nier is really
Those are pretty much the only two that I can think of that.
Horizon? You want to play through that at all?
Yeah, I do.
I think you should.
Those are the only three, though. Okay. Don't name another and make an asshole out of me again. But, yeah, I feel like those are the only three that I've fallen behind on.
I also want to make sure I play through Prey. I haven't done that yet. So, Persona, Prey, Neo, obviously Wolfenstein, and
I mean, those
Mario
are not
Odyssey.
yet, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying when those come out, I have to make sure I play them.
Oh, yeah.
You boys should play Persona 3, 4, and 5. I played 4.
I'll do a Persona 5 first, so we'll go there first.
Yeah. Anything else?
That'll be it. Let's see. Zod says it's FF7. I still like turn-based combat. I've played some newer games with it. I can't think of what now, but I still do not mind the methodical kind of approach to it.
The style of Persona 5 gets me excited. The way they do turn-based combat, they put like different. You don't like select attack or defend. Like X is attack, square is defend, and it's all like popped up in this big artsy looking menu where it's just like press square to attack, or press X to cast magic or whatever. And it looks very eye popping.
Yeah, plus I don't mind picking a waifu every now and again. You know what I mean?
Gotta pick that waifu.
Get a new one.
Persona 5 after Chrono Trigger. I think we're gonna stick to, as far as Babby's first, we're gonna stick to older games. Yeah. Persona 5 is definitely on the list of something to play. But as far as games that we're going to stream from the very beginning to the very end, it's going to be
Chrono Trigger will be next, and that'll probably be like 3 streams. If they're not like 2 hours at a piece.
I did a research on how long to beat. They said it's 25 hours.
We'll see. But still, that's much less.
Yeah, we're at 30 right now on Final Fantasy, and we probably still have a good 10.
Are you saying 30 15. Because of the in-game counter?
Yeah.
That does not include all the times we've died, restarted.
Yeah.
Like, no, we're probably closer to like 40, 45.
Yeah.
All right, well, that will be all for us tonight. I believe, well, no, not tonight, but it'll be all for Prep 8 tonight. We'll be back with Final Fantasy 7 in 30 minutes.
There's all the plugs.
Yeah.
Take a screenshot of them and save them in your bookmarks. Chess for NES has good turn-based combat.
Yeah, hear that, Zod? You bitch. Gotcha.
Thank you guys for hanging out. I'm Major Tom.
I'm DKP, and we'll see you guys in about half an hour. So. All right. Bye, fellers. Ooh.
What's up, Vanduella?
Ooh.
Bye, Vanduella.
I'm gonna keep you waving like a fucking douche. Keep going.
Can I do it like this then?
You ever seen people wave like this?
Yeah, like the princess wave.
Fucking lame ass shit.
People should wave like this.